Buffett song is actually A Sailor Looks at 40, Madam Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters, but something really strange happened the other day on May the 4th. I turned 50. Oh, never thought about that. 50. Things start getting a little different when you turn 50. You start getting a little retrospective. My girlfriend gave me, I thought, two very appropriate cards. This one is very demure, sweet-looking. Well, actually, it says, "Women's wisdom always yield to temptation. It may not pass your way again." I thought, she knows me a little too well. We had quite a long laugh on that one. A lot of ring of truth there. Then the other card she gave me was these three women sitting and having tea, and the middle one says, "Honestly, the only thing holding me together right now is straight up vodka and full body spandex." I thought, I like that one too. I've noticed that at 50, the girl that used to win every dance contest and taught dance, now I go to a Zumba class and I look like a spastic orangutan, you know, there, and I'm in back and forth. I just look completely spastic, and even worse, it's a full mirror that you work out in front of, and I'm constantly going, who is that in that body? It's not a size 6 anymore. Where's the hair that was long and curly? So I'm not having a lot of fun at Zumba. A mother that I've always been is now a grandmother. And instead of being the life of the party, I spend my time giving my garden life. So things have changed. It's a time for reflection, excuse me though, and I thought, what is it that has been the thread that has woven my life story? And I really couldn't come up with but one answer, and that is what my passion has been, which is sailing. It began when I was 23. His name was John Mulligan. He was a red-headed Irishman and a former professional sailor. He introduced me to sailing in Savannah, his hometown, and my weekends began to look like getting up, leaving Friday afternoon, racing to get up to Savannah, taking the boat out. It wasn't a small boat. I learned, most people learn to sail on a small little day sailor. I learned on a 32-foot racing yacht. And from the first time we went out, I was addicted. I was done. And our weekends were magnificent. I learned all the important things one should learn at 23, how to drink shots after you've been out sailing all day, and sail really hard and race, and then get up on Sunday morning and go to Catholic church real quick just to go out and do it all over again by Sunday afternoon. I came to sail all over Savannah, all over Panama City, and race the great races in Abaco Race Week, where I continued for 20-something years to go back and enjoy those islands. So I was addicted. I learned that I absolutely loved sailing. I then went through a very adulterous period in my life and started hanging out with people that had power boats. And I even owned some myself. But it didn't take too long to realize it was just the wrong path for me. So I did return, once I moved to Hilton Head, I returned to my love of sailing. I met Captain Andy Andhurst. I lived there at Skull Creek. Andy had his boat parked there. Andy at that time was already in his 70s. His boat was named Yarmist, Y-E-M-A-R. It took me a year or so of sailing with him, and I finally said, "Andy, Yarmist, that's not a real word." He said, "I know." He said, "It stands for you are missed." He said, "My wife died, quite a few years ago." And he said, "I still really miss her." Oh, what a beautiful, beautiful man he was. And then Andy moved, and I would stand up in my window and watch this guy right there in Skull Creek take the boat out by himself all the time. It was, again, like a 32-foot boat. I thought, wow, he just looks like he needs someone to sail with. Joined a photography club, and there he was. I said, "Aren't you the guy that has the boat with the brat?" He said, "That's me." I said, "You so look like you need somebody to sail with." He says, "As a matter of fact, I do." So many years began with that wonderful sailing. And I think the reason I got to sail with him had nothing to do so much with my sailing ability, but my ability to spend a day on the water and not talk too much. There's something about sailing that requires peacefulness and quiet. And we came to sail together for many, many years of just his wife packing us some tea to drink during the day, raspberry iced tea it was, and little sandwiches, and out all day we were, happy as little clams out there on the water. Not racing anymore, because that's what, back in Savannah, we were known for our racing. In fact, we never lost. One of our crew members went on to race and crew for Walter Cronkite, to tell you the level of, it was serious back in those days. And now we were a little calmer. When I was 37, life took a big curve one night. A friend that knew me said, I have somebody I want you to meet. I said, look, you know I'm not really interested in dating. He has a boat in Wexford. Oh, okay, well maybe. So I did, and unfortunately, right then and there, I was done. He did have a boat in Wexford. It was a very nice boat, great sailing boat, and he was a former Hobie national champion sailor. My days began with lots and lots of sailing and lots of fun. In the winter, when you don't see too many boats out there, we were out there. Stocking caps are not just for skiing, I've learned. Stocking caps and ski gloves. It was so cold, but we were out there. Racing Hobies. He had a 20-foot Hobie. And if anybody has ever do double trapped out flying a hole, Rosemary may know what I mean. It's this diaper looking thing that you put on, and it has a hook on it. And you're on a big, this is a 20-foot Hobie. It's, you know, about, not quite the size of the room, but it's big. And you're on the boat, and then when the wind gets going just right, you hook this on to this hook on the stay. You slide yourself out, the boat's going full speed, and you sit on the side of the boat, leaned out with nothing holding you but this one thing, this one hook, and then the other person does the same thing, and you turn the boat so you're only on one hull, double trapped out, flying a hull. It's a scream, as in literally I would scream. It was so fantastic. We would take the boat up to Charleston, sailed at sunset there along the bay with a full colored sail, cameras clicking. It was the greatest thrill I could ever imagine. Nowadays, because of Karen, I get to sail with Paul on my dream boat, a 105J, which means it's the fastest little, not little, it's big and it is fast. And I'm racing again. Not every day, but every now and then I still get to go to Savannah, back to my old stomping grounds, and race the old boys again. And it's still awesome. So, as Jimmy Buffett would say, Mother, Mother Ocean, upon your seas I have sailed since I was a mere 23. Manifest.